Hi everyone, so in this video I'm going to show you how to build a to-do application using Django and React.js instance. I'm going to show you how this to-do application works. You get, so right, I could come over here and update a given to-do. I could update it. I could just say learn Python. So we're trying to update a given to-do. So click on this, add. It has been updated, you get, in a sense. So I can decide to delete. I could just come over here and delete play PS5. I could delete this one. It has been deleted. Instead, I could add more to do. I could add more tasks. I could just say go to, okay, let's say go to school, or okay, let's say go to school, and then click on add. It has been added. Instead, so I could even mark a to-do application as completed. I could just say this has been completed. I could come here and say this has been completed instead. So I could even filter this to-do application. I could filter them. If I click here, these are filtered. Now if I click on completed, I'm going to have only the completed to-dos. You understand? Just click there. You can see we only have the completed to-dos on the page. So I'm going to show you how to build a to-do application using Django and React. It's easy. You understand? If you're a beginner, if you're new to Django, or even if you're new to React.js, don't worry. This tutorial is going to guide you on how to build a to-do application using Django for the backend and React for the front end. Understand? So without further ado, we are getting started right now. So in this episode, we are going to work on building the RESTful API using Django. Understand? So we are going to start that right now. You get, so here's my VS Code, my text editor. So over here I have a simple Django project instance. You can see it's still new. You can see we are still on the Django landing page. We create a new project using Django instance. So currently we still have a fresh Django project, and our app is called To-Do app, and our Django project is called To-Do DRF instance. So first of all, we need to go and register our app inside the settings.py file. You get, so just come down here. You're going to add this app inside we're going to add this app called To-Do app into the installed apps. It's necessary you do this, don't forget this. Just click here and then let's add it. So just say, what's it called again? To-Do app. Okay, I need to speed my computer. Okay, To-Do app. So it's done. So once that is done already, you need to install some packages for Django REST Framework instance. So just scroll down to the bottom of your page. Let me remove all this. So Ctrl C. I want to break it. So I want to just break the server. So you need to install the Django REST Framework package. You're going to say pip install. I'm going to say Django REST Framework. So I think that's pip install Django REST Framework. I think I spelled it wrongly. So make sure it's Django REST Framework, one word instance. So enter. So you're going to install the Django REST Framework package for us. So you need to give it some time to install. So right now it's done installing the package. So we are going to go down to we can go back to our settings.py file. So come back to your settings.py file. Just up here, we need to add the package called the REST Framework. So REST_framework. So yes, so this is what you need to add here. So once you've done this, I think we are done over here. So we are going to go down to our models.py file. So we are going to create a model. Let's go to to-do model right now. So we're going to just say class. We're going to say, let's say class to do, and then we know it's for models.model. So we are going to have like 4 fields here. I'm going to call the first one task. I'm going to say it's going to be a character field, models as character field. And then I'm going to give it a max length of, let's say max length, so let's just say 100 for now. 100 is even too much. Just leave it like that. So we're going to call the next field is going to be called completed. It's going to be a boolean field instead. Models of boolean field instance, and that's going to have a default value of false instance. So okay, once that's done, we're going to add some more fields. We're going to add the created field. We're going to add the time this to do was created. That's necessary again. So it's going to be equal to models.date field. We're going to use a date field, and then we're going to just say auto_now add should be equal to true. That means whenever this to do is being created, it gets the time it was created. Instead, whenever we create a new to do, the time it was created is picked as the created time. You understand? So let's go back here again. we're going to add the updated, and we're going to set this to models.date field, models.date field, and I'm going to just say auto underscore now should be equal to true. So what this does is that whenever we update, or whenever we update a given to do, whenever we update that to do, we get the time that to do was updated in instance. So that's just it. So created means whenever we create a new to do, but the update means whenever we update, whenever we like update an already existing to do, we use this. Whenever we are creating a new to do, this is what we use instead. Just know that. So we're going to just return the string function. So the string function, and then just simply just say, oh, can't I spell solve? So let me just say return solve.task, return solve.task. So that's it now. So we've done this now. So the next thing for us to do now is we want to go and serialize this model. You need to serialize it, right? So let's do that right away. So right now we're going to create a new file in your to-do app. We're going to call this file serializers.py instead. So let's create this file now. Call this serializers.py. Serializers.py. So that's it. Once it has been done, so let's serialize this app. Let me just split my screen. Okay. So we have the serializers.py file. Yes, so I'm going to just say from REST framework, we need to do some importing now. Say from REST framework, REST underscore framework. That was wrong. Okay, so we need to import serializers. So we're going to say import serializers. So that's it now. Once we've done this now, we need to also import our to-do model in instance. So we're going to say from, let's say from .models, we're going to import to-do. You get, so import to do, and once that's done, let's then create our serializer class. I'm going to say class, I'm going to say to do serializer, and we're going to simply inherit from serializer.model serializers instead, just like we have for the model form. It's just the same way the serializers.py, our serializers also work in instance. So we're going to simply just say, so we're going to inherit from serializers.model serializer instead. So serializer. So that's it now. So we also have the class meta. So we have this meta class here. The model is called to do. Instead, and the fields we want to render are just 3 fields. I want to just show up 3 fields instead. So I'm going to call, so it's going to be a list. So I'm going to have the ID. The ID, after the ID, what do we have next? We have the completed, we have the ID, we have the task, and then what else? Am I making a miss? Completed. So my keyboard is kind of acting weird today. Completed. So that's the 3 fields we need now. So once we've done this now, we need to go, remember we've not made migrations here, but we can leave that for now. So now let's go down to our views.py, go down to your views. So now right now let's create a view for our to-do application instead. Okay, you might be wondering, why do we just have 3 fields here? Why we have up to 5 of them? Remember, ID is always there by default. The ID is always here by default, so we have 5 fields instead. So you might be wondering, why do we just have 3 fields? Yeah, why we still have 2 extra fields like created and updated. So what is this here? We only want to use the ID, the task, and the completed field. You understand? Remember, from our to-do app, we didn't have any place. From our to-do application, we didn't use this created field and updated field. You can see these are to-do application. This is how it looks like. And so remember, we are not using these 2 fields called created and updated. We are not using them. We just added them here just for the normal convention of creating a to-do model. We just added it there. But right here, since we're not going to use it on the app itself, there's no need for us to include these 2 fields in this serializer. Hope you understood. So that's why it's not there. So right now, let's create our view. So let's create our view. So let's do that right away. Okay, so first of all, now we're going to create a function. We're going to call this function, we're going to say to do underscore list. Instead, so we're going to have the requests parameter there. So that's the request there. So that's just normal way you do your stuff. You write your normal function, your normal Django function. understand? So this time around, what are we going to do now? We are going to simply list out all our to-dos, understand? So we're going to just come here, let's import. We're going to say from .models, we need to import to-do, understand? So come over here, we just say to-dos should be equal to to-do.object.all, to-do.object.all, and then we're going to create a new variable called serializers. Serializer should be equal to this. So right now we need to go and import this to-do serializer from this file, from our serializer file. Let's import this class. So I'm going to just come over here and say from .serializers. So I'm going to just import to-do serializers. Just over here, come and just say to-do serializer, and then we're going to have this to-dos inside of it. We're going to say to-dos, and then we're going to say many equal to true, because remember we can have a lot of to-dos, so many should be equal to true. So that's it now. And right now we need to also return a response. Instead, return response. Okay, so now we're going to return a response. That response is going to be simply serializer.data. So now right, we need to import this response. Just come over here, just say from REST framework, REST_framework .response. We need to import response. So that's it. So once we've done this now, I think everything should be fine. So right now we need to also import a decorator that's going to give us that REST framework look. We need to import this decorator in a sense. So we're going to the decorator is called API_view. So right now this is it here. Just say from REST framework, from REST_framework .decorators. We need to import API_view. So once you've done that, now just add that on top of your function. So say at API_view, but then have to just put in. So we are going to be supporting two HTTP methods here on this particular view. We are going to support the get and the post. Remember, the get is to just fetch our to-dos. The get is meant to fetch all your to-dos, while the post enables you to create new to-dos. So in this function, you're going to support two methods, the get method and also the post method. Understand? So I'm going to just say get here and then post. You get, so that's it, post. So now that's it. Now everything is fine here. So before we proceed, so what's the next thing now? So this is our get request. This is our get method over here. So I just come over here and say if request dot method is equal to, what's happening? It's equal to get. So let's just indent this. So now this is our get request here. So this enables us to get all the to-dos. Understand? First of all, we have to query our database to get these to-dos, and then we have to serialize it over here, and then we have to return the response, which is this serialized data. Understand? So now we're going to listen for the post request. So now let's just say if we are trying to check if we are on a post request now. So if because the method is equal to post, what should we do? So we are working on right now. Okay, so right now we want to create to-dos. Understand? Remember, this one helps us to fetch the to-dos we already have. This helps to fetch our to-dos, while this second method helps to create new to-dos. Understand? So how do you go about it? I'm going to create a variable called serializer. Serializer is going to be equal to to-do serializer. Understand? And once we've done this now, we're going to say data should be equal to request dot data. You understand? So this is data we are trying to create. This is what we are trying to pass. You understand? This is the data we are trying to create, right? You get? So we are trying to right now we are trying to deserialize our data to create a new to do. Right here we are deserializing. Why over here we are serializing? You understand? So on this line here, for the get request on the 13th line, we are serializing our data to come out in JSON form. You understand? Why on this line 17, to create a new to-do, we have to deserialize the data to create a new to-do. Remember, that's how it's done. You understand? So right here, I'm going to just say if serializer, if it is valid, we're going to check if it is valid. We're going to say if serializer.isValid.is underscore valid. What we're going to do now, we're going to simply save our serializer, and once it is saved, we just created a new to-do. Once it is saved, our to-do has been created. Instead, we're going to return a response. I'm going to just say return response, and we'll then say serializer.data, and then we need to also return an HTTP message. Understand? So right now, we need to return a message, an HTTP message. Understand? So then let me just say status. So just inside the parentheses, I'm going to say status should be equal to status dot HTTP underscore 201 and underscore created. Understand? So once we create a new to do, once we return this HTTP message that says okay, we just created a new to do. You understand? So we need to import this status is necessary. Let's import it. Let's say from REST framework. So from REST framework, REST underscore framework, I need to import status necessary. So I think that's that. So let's assume this is not valid. So what's going to happen? We need to return an error message, right? If this is not valid, we need to return an error message, because right now we have checked for the validity. If it is valid, we are going to simply save and then return this message. But if it is not valid, we need to also return an error message instead. So let's come here and say return. We just say return, I don't know why, return response, and then we say serializers dot errors, right? And then we just say status should be equal to status dot HTTP underscore 400 underscore bad underscore request. Understand? So that's it. So right now I made a mistake. These are all in caps, not small. These are in caps. 201 underscore created. Understand? This is also in caps. Understand? So sorry for that. Bad underscore request, and then this is called errors. So that's it now. So once we've done this now, we need to create a URL. Let's create our URL for this view. So let's come over here, let's create a new file called url.py file, urls.py file. So in this file now, let's say from Django.urls, we need to import path, and then from our, we need to import the views module. We're going to say from dot, I'm going to say import views, and then last we're going to say URL patterns should be equal to, we're going to say path. For our first URL, we're going to just simply just say to do's, and then I'm going to say views dot to do underscore list. So that's it. So let's go restart this app, this url.py file in the project url.py file. So let's do that right away. So just come over here and just say we're going to import include, and then just at the bottom here, just come over here and say path, and then say include to do app dot urls. So that's it. So let's make migrations. Remember, we've not migrated our data. We've not migrated this model yet. So let's make the migrations now. I'm gonna say Python manage.py make migrations. So right now we're trying to make migrations right away. So right now let's migrate. So say Python manage.py migrate. So it's going to migrate the data right away. Okay, it's migrating. So let's give some time. It's almost done. So right now, let's create a super user. I'm going to say Python -py create super user. So right here, I'm going to call this super user client. So the password is just a simple password. Oh, so okay, it has been created now. Let's run server again. So our server is up and our server is about to come up again. So once it's up, I'm going down to the browser. Okay, our server is up again. To the browser now. So go down to /admin. So our admin is coming up. What's happening fast? So let's log in and then the password. So login. Okay, you need to go and start this to do in the model, admin.py file. This to do model. Let's go and start this right away. So where is admin.py file? So just come over here. Just say from .models import to do. And just here, I'm gonna say admin the sites .register. And just say to do. Okay, perfect. Once I've done this already, now what's the next step? To the browser, refresh this page. So we have our to-dos here. So now I'm going to add some to-dos. So let's add to-do. Okay, just here. I just say read a book. Click on save. Let's add another one. I just say go to school. I just say learn to code. And last one, let's say pray to God. Pray to God. So we click on save. So right now we have 4 to-dos now. So to the browser, so let's go down to this. Remember now we have our URLs. Let me make this smaller. Okay, now so remember we have our view. These are views now. Remember this is a URL. So let's go down to /to-dos and let's see what it looks like over here. So let's say 127 /to-dos. Enter. So let's see what it looks like. So you can see right now, you can see our to-do list. You can see we have you can see how to read the book, go to school, learn to code. Understand? So right now we also have a list down here. We could also create our own to-do. We could create a new to-do application. We could create a new to-do from this form at the bottom. Remember the views from our views.py file. From the views here, remember we have to support the get and the posts. Understand? So right now if I remove this post now, remove the post there. If I go down to the browser now, if I refresh this page, this form disappears. So refresh. Let's see. Oh, I think our server is still running. Okay, it's almost done. So to the browser, refresh. You can see the form is gone. You can see. So that's why I also remember, just let's put it back there. So that's it. It's the browser. So let's wait for the server to run again. So it's done. So with this form we can update a given to do. You understand? So let's do that right away. So in this form we can create a new to do, not update. It's not update, but we can create a new to do with this form. So right now let's create a new to do. We just copy any of these objects, copy Control C, come to the form here, we paste it there. We just come over here, I move the ID. The ID is going to be auto generated instead. So we can also remove this completed equal false, because it's going to be on default. It's going to always be false on default. Remember from our models, we set that to false. Okay. Right now I'm going to just put a tag. I'm going to just say learn React, or let's just say learn Django. Let's just say learn Django. When you're working with Django, let's say learn Django, and then click on post. Boom, it's done. You can see now we have a new to do. It's called learn Django. Once I refresh this page right now, you can see now we have learn Django there. You can see the ID is 6 instead. So that's how we're able to like fetch and post data. You understand? So the next thing also on retrieving a single to do and also updating it to do, and lastly once also on deleting a given to do. So let's work on that right away. Let's do that right now. So the browser now. So right here in this same view, just create and let's call this to do. I'm gonna create this. We're gonna call this. I'm gonna say so to do detail. I'm gonna say underscore to do underscore detail. We're gonna inherit from. You're putting your request there. So your request is necessary. Or is it not? Okay. And last, we need to also copy this decorator. Control C. We paste here. But this time around, we're going to have the get. We're going to have get, put, and delete. We could also add patch. So let's add patch here. I'll explain what patch does. And then let's add delete. Okay, also over here, we want to get what to do. So let's import. What was it called? This. So let's import get for get object of for here. Okay, just over here, we're gonna say to do should be equal to get object of for. Object should be to do. Remember, we're gonna put in the PK here. We're gonna get it to do by its ID equal to PK. And once we've done that, what's the next thing? The next thing for us to do now is we need to serialize this to do. We need to serialize it, right? So right now I'm gonna just come over here and say serializer should be equal to do serializer to do serializer. So just now we're going to say to do serializer, and then we're going to pass in to do as the instance instead, and then we're going to simply just say data should be equal to request dot data. So that's it. Once I've done this already, next thing is to save instead. So just come here and say if serializer dot is valid. So remember, we have to save serializer dot save. So once we've done this already, the next step we need to just simply, and then return a response. Let's say return response, then say serializer dot data, serializer dot data. So if there's an error, if there's a problem, we are going to return an error message. We're going to return this response up here. So if everything goes well, we are going to update the to do. We are going to update it and then return this error and return this serializer message instead. But if there's an error, we are going to skip this if block and then come up this error message we have over here. Understand? So that's it. But right now, I was working on the put request. So I need to work on the get request. I forgot. I skipped the get request and then start working on the put request. So right now let's just up here I just say if request dot method is equal to put. So that's it. So now once I've done this, now just simply have to just push this in. So this is the put request. So we're going to work on the get request right now. So I'm going to explain maybe what's the difference between a put request and also a patch request. A put request simply replaces an entire object, Why the patch request helps to update a specific field in an object. Understand? But kind of now what we have here is a patch request, because we are simply updating a given, we are simply updating the tax field. You understand? This field over here, the tax field, how you are updating this tax field again. So but okay, don't worry, it's fine. We're gonna test both of them, but for now let's leave it as puts. So let's work on the get request now. I'm gonna just say if request dot method is equal to get. So this is it now. If it's a get request, so what do? We have to just say to do should be equal. So we're gonna simply just, okay, we already have to do up here. Okay, we're gonna simply just say serializer should be equal to do serializer, and then we just have to just pass in to do. Understand? So and then we have to return a response that says return response should be serializer.data. So that is it. So that's this for the get request, this for the put request. The get request, just returning the serializer. We are simply returning right now in the get request. We are simply returning a specific to do based on what we have here. But over here, we are simply going to update a specific to do. If you can check closely, we have to pass in the instance we are trying to update. So let's work on the delete operator. Let's work on the delete now. So this is going to be elif. So I'm going to work on another elif now. I'm going to say if request dot method, if it is a delete request, all the way do you see me just say to do dot delete. Remember we have to do on top up here, to do dot delete, and then return, and we are going to simply return a response. Just copy this, Ctrl C, paste down here, and then we're going to say status should be equal to status dot http 204 underscore no contents. So that's it. So so next thing what we're going to go do now is go down to UI.py, and then we come here and just say path, then we do to do's / to do's / let's just say inc, then pk, and then also done that, let's say views dot to do underscore detail. So that's it. The browser is still running. So once it's done to the browser, let's see. So to our browser, so we have our to do's here. So far here, let's just create a new, let's say 127. We'll say to do's, and then let's pass in an ID. Let's just call this ID of 1. I just put in 1 there, and then enter. Okay, let's see what's happening. Right now you can see we've been able to like get a specific to do. So I could update this to do, I could update it. I would just come here and just copy. We could delete, we can update. So I'll just come here. Okay, before I proceed to updating the given to do, I want to explain something. Right now, from our function, we have the get. This is the get request over here, and this get request is responsible for what we have up here. Understand? And right here we have the put request. This over here, this is responsible for what we have, for the form we have here. And lastly, we have this delete button over here, and this is responsible because of what we have here, this delete method we have here. That's why you can see, I just explain this thing. You can see that's why we have those items on this page, here. So right now let's update, copy. Don't you see? Just paste this now. We could just say this. We could just say read a Django book. Read a Django book. And we just click on puts. It's going to update this now. Let's click on the puts button. So you can see it has been updated. It's now read a Django book. You understand? So right now we can only use the puts method because that's what we specify in our view function. We didn't use the patch, so let's change this to patch now. And then come over here, refresh. Don't waste my time, it's loading. Okay, it's done. Just copy again and then paste here. We just change this to read a React book. Read a React book. Click on patch. You can see it's done. You get, so you can see we are using patch this time. That's because I changed this to patch. You could come back here and put here put, and make sure you use the put button once you do that. Instead, remember, the patch helps to update a specific field in the object, while the put method helps to replace an entire object. Just note their differences. So that's it. Now we could also come here. So let's come over. I want to delete a given to do. What are we going to do? Let's listen up. So we want to delete something, and we just come over here and just say let's delete go to school. Come over here. Currently I'm on holidays, so I don't want to go to school now, so enter. So click on delete. Go to school is going to be gone now. Delete now. It's gone. So for no content, go back to the page now. Let's confirm that. So we've been able to, so right now we've been able to delete go to school. Right now the IDs are 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see go to school is gone. That's perfect. So that's it. Now we have been able to right now we've been able to build our RESTful API for our to-do application. So in the next episode, I'm going to show you how to use React.js to consume these APIs. You understand? So if you enjoyed the video, if you learned something, please subscribe to my channel Code with Clinton, like the video and share it with your friends. And don't worry, I'm going to provide the source code to you guys so you guys can try stuff by yourself. So see you in the next episode. So stay blessed and bye bye.